welcome Deborah to the podcast.
Oh, Christine, I'm so excited to be here. And I always like to say, let's give ourselves a hug. We need to appreciate ourselves and appreciate everyone listening too. I am so joyful to be here with
Oh,
you.
I am so joyful to have you with me, Deborah. You are such an uplifting person. I'm really looking forward to this conversation today. Tell me a little bit where are you tuning in from?
I live in the middle of the Big Apple, Manhattan, New York. And I know you mentioned you're in Canada, so we're somewhat neighbors to speak of. But
That's it.
yeah, I grew up here, Christine. I was born and bred, and when my mom moved away, my brother moved away, my son moved away, but my husband and I, we are hardcore New Yorkers. We love it. We thrive on the energy.
Love it. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, well, I can hear your accent. So yeah, definitely the New Yorker sort of accent. Beautiful. Well, thank you for coming today. Let's learn a little bit about Deborah. Um, let's start, wherever you're comfortable. I'd love to hear a little bit about what brought you to your work.
Interesting, because I've listened as we talked about to quite a few of your podcasts, and I know your journey, and it really puts things in perspective. Cancer survivor 2 times and all that. So, my journey is nothing like that. My journey was caused by me. And many
Mm,
times in life, we cause our own strife for whatever reason. The
so
key
true.
is, as you always say, to find the joy. But I had lost my sparkle, my joy. I had always been an overachiever ever since I was young. And my job, my career path was that way 100%. I started in, and I've loved everything I've done. It's just how I did it, how I approached it. I started in design because that's what I studied in college. And my husband and I then started our own business, licensing my designs. If you Google my name, you'll see Vintage Deborah Mallow on home furnishings and gift products and a lot of that. And of
Okay.
course, I was that overachiever. I took some time. We had a son, and I enjoyed that. But then, of course, reality set in, and we needed to have health insurance and earn some money and everything else. So rather than going back to design, I talked my way into a pharmaceutical job and biotech nonetheless. Artist to biotech rep. It shows you can, if your mindset is there, you can do anything you really
Yeah.
want to. You just have to work at it and put in
Fine.
effort. So I worked to become number one. And with that, I was exhausting myself. I wasn't eating right. I was just not a happy camper. I'm honest. I I would get angry at the drop of a dime, almost lost a job because of that. But I have a lot of empathy and I really care about people. And that showed through. And I think that part saved me. Plus, I was number one rep. And one day, I just realized I was standing on a New York City subway platform and I realized if I don't change, Christine, nothing will change. And I will die just trying to be the absolute best with no life balance, no joy, and just running in circles like a hamster, programmed like a robot to get up at 3 in the morning, plan my day, go out, come back at 10 o'clock at night. What person does that? I would leave at 6 in the morning. I mean, it was just
Wow.
getting to be ridiculous. And my
Hmm.
husband had the presence of mind to say to me, keep working, keep doing it as long as you want, but you're going to die doing it. And I decided that I've
Wow.
always wanted to help people. And I
Hmm.
wanted to then help people get unstuck because I sort of figured out how to do it. And that's that was the beginning of my book, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. I started to write my own guidebook, how I was going to get out from under and find my joy. Every day isn't perfect, but it's really our mindset. And I researched the science behind why I did what I did. And Christine, I sit in front of you truly happy, not worried, not fearful, living my life. I don't want to say best life, that's trite, but I'm living my life in the present moment. I'm not stuck in negativity. And I think so many people don't live their lives. And that's what I help people now do as a not as a therapist, but as an accountability partner, mentor, cheerleader, coach. I wear many hats, but I help people get through because we can. But so many times we need somebody else to hold us accountable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's so true. I love how you say that so many people don't live their lives. And it makes a ton of sense to me because I think about how often you hear somebody, they're talking about they can't wait for Saturday, Sunday. They talk about, the so and so's, the worst at work or whatever it is, but it is what it is, you hear these stories often. Very rarely, and it's not always centered around work, but very rarely do people have the sight to say, you know what, my situation isn't good. I'm not happy here. And so therefore I have the ability to change it. Often when you say, hey, well, maybe make some changes. There's not enough money, not enough time, et cetera, et cetera. There's a big long list of reasons why they're trapped in their
Fear.
own life. Fear. Very well said. And so I'm curious, when you were in this kind of corporate position, and you were feeling really unhappy because you're more artistic and those sorts of things, what was the narrative there that kind of told you, hey, I need to stay and continue to do this?
Well, let's say this. I loved all my jobs. I
Oh,
loved
okay.
designing. I loved being a pharma rep, going into offices, talking to smart people, the people in the company. It wasn't that. It was me. It was how I was approaching my life,
Oh.
trying to strive for something that it's good to strive, I really believe, and accomplish because that gives us confidence. And it's good to fall down and get back up because that gives us resilience. And it's good to believe in yourself because that gives you self worth. So I want to say that it wasn't the jobs, it was me and my approach trying to achieve, and not balancing the right way and learning to be able, because I love to work, Christine. I work every day. I get up really early. I really enjoy what I do, but I balance it now better. I include self-care. I take care of my confidence, my thought process. I don't let the negativity enter. I flip that script all the time. It's no longer, I'm so stupid. I messed up. You know what, up. Not to say
Yeah.
it here. And I say, I learned something new. It's all about the approach. See, I'm not about forcing positivity. It's not that at all. It's how we approach our everyday and how we value ourselves. And you've talked about it. I listened to your podcast, that awareness, being aware of what you're doing and stopping it so it doesn't suck the life out of you and you can live your life in joy. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be happy every moment. Life is messy, stuff happens, but that's where the resilience comes in, is being able to bounce back from the tough times and how we react. I don't react anymore like that, get angry, get frustrated. I pause. I breathe. Okay, maybe breathing's overrated. Well, we need to do it, but I'm talking about you here. Breathe, calm down. And that could aggravate you more. But honestly, if you stop before going down a rabbit hole and think about it, and think about the aftermath, what I call the domino effect, the chain reaction, it really helps put things in perspective. Reshaping our thoughts, reframing our perspective, not allowing what doesn't matter to matter. Because so many times you think about, we get mad at something and we get all worked up, and then a couple hours later, it doesn't even matter anymore. Yes, like what you
True.
went through with cancer, that's what matters. We need to put things in perspective so that we can handle our everyday, the stresses, the anxiety, put that in perspective and find our joy. Live in the present, not in our head worrying about who's judging us. People are too busy. People are thinking about themselves. We we owe it to ourselves to add that self-worth and believe in ourselves. Accomplish things that makes us feel good. Pursue a purpose and a passion. Care about other people. Care about yourself. Be kind. Practice gratitude. Yes, maybe all those things are overrated, but you know what? If you really want to stop and think, they work. And why live a life that you don't love? And I know people are in certain circumstances where it's very dicey and difficult, but I'm talking about not making mountains out of molehills.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And so, what I'm hearing is potentially some of the self-care techniques that you mentioned here that I'd love to dive into in a little bit more depth. That you were able to implement in your life, ways that you were able to find more balance, etc. And then therefore infuse more joy into your life and have that natural positivity come in. That might be because even though you enjoyed your life, even though you were enjoying your job, you were overachieving and not finding balance. And so I'm curious if finding that balance is what brought this natural joy to you, this light that you have that you're bringing to the podcast today.
Yeah. And also, it's about, and you've talked about it too, it's about that perfection and not putting so much pressure on ourselves, giving ourselves some grace. So when you fall down, and we all will, who doesn't make mistakes? I don't like to call, I don't use the word failure. I've relabeled it, renamed it education. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn and grow, you don't advance. And to me, it's all about that. And I want to share that with everybody because it's so important that we lift ourselves up, we believe in ourselves so that we're not so hard on ourselves. And that's why I started this with give yourself a hug, appreciate yourself. Like you said, and I do this each morning. I've always done it, well, since I've changed. I smile and I say something positive. You talked about posting a positive affirmation. And these affirmations, they're not just said, you have to take action on them. It's like manifesting. I manifest all the time. I want to accomplish something, but you have to put effort and determination into it. Things I heard Amy talked about on your podcast how you have to be in the right place to receive and what is going to work for you, what where you should align, and how it happened for her on a Thursday, and she started on a Monday. It's listen to the podcast, everybody, rather than me going into it. And honestly, to me, that's what all this is about, because we are never going to be perfect. And the
Mm.
more we put that pressure on ourselves, especially women, we will never find our joy. We'll always be searching for something that's elusive, that isn't possible. So that's why I talk about self care. That's why, to me, self care is building confidence, resilience, and self worth, and positive energy. Being around, you talked about this, being around people, a positive community that believes in you, that lifts you up, you lift them up. We give to each other, and then that's how we grow, because a comfort zone,
True.
living in our fear, is not really comfortable. It's
Mm.
just, we're not moving forward. And with that comes the dissatisfaction. We're not fulfilled. So I urge everybody to believe in themselves enough. Small steps. Our brains love patterns. The more we create these positive patterns, the more they become habit. So it's small steps make a big impact over time, and we owe it to ourselves to enjoy our lives. Why not? And you talk about not feeling guilty for this, giving ourselves permission to do it. And honestly, that's what is so important, to live a happier life. And that's why I say the
Mm.
subtitle of my book, it's a happier you. I'm not saying happy every second. I'm not saying perfect. I'm just saying you'll feel better. And when we
Mhm.
feel better, that's not selfish, because when you feel better, you're better for the people around you. You can love more. You can help your children more, your friends. You're not stuck in the negative patterns in your brain that's like dragging you down, those imaginary disasters that we create for ourselves. So
So
I
true.
hope that
So
answers your
true.
question.
It does, it does. I'm hearing a lot of compassion for yourself. Overachieving is really rooted in feeling like we aren't enough, and in feeling like we need to prove to ourselves and others that we are enough in that way. And I'm hearing a lot of like self-compassion, just enjoy, like allowing yourself to have that self-care, that love, to fall down. I heard you mention that a few times, to fall down and count it as education. And so, I'm hearing a lot of compassion. Would you say that is what kind of fueled the 6 steps? Or I'd like to hear more about the 6 steps.
Absolutely. 6 steps to fewer days that suck. Not to no day, not to any, not no, I use my speak grammatically correct. Um,
Fair.
but not to every day not sucking, but fewer days. And honestly, it works, because it's all about that. It's a pep talk and a hug for the soul. It doesn't talk down to people, it lifts them up. It it's not a chapter book, as you know. You got to read it or look through it. It's
Yeah.
double pages in each of the steps. There's 8 double pages. And at the end of the step, there's a summary and tips and a line page, almost like a workbook if you want to do that. You can get the ebook version, but the ebook version doesn't have the line pages because it just wasn't possible. But the physical
Fine.
books do, the paperback and the hardcover. But just the same, it's a title of a page like Walk Away from Negativity, No More Excuses, Happiness is a Choice, Perfection Prevents Progress, Fear Prevents Outcome. It's all the things we all as humans struggle with. So I then have a quote, a commitment to ourselves, and it's all positive. It's not like never do this or don't do that. It's strategies and solutions, and then the questions we need to ask ourselves, and then strategies and possible solutions for each one in a 1, 2, 3 ABC kind of thing. Very simple. Simple science, like the brain likes patterns. So, just very simple and basic, because I'm a simple gal. And then, all on a double page, there's a little story about somebody who accomplished whatever the topic is. And there are quotes and there an affirmation and a tip. And honestly, working through it and researching changed my perspective on things, what truly matters. I'll say that to myself 10 times a day. Does that really matter? Because you need to ask yourself, why put this pressure on yourself? Why make yourself anxious and stressed if something doesn't matter? Yes, sometimes we can't get away from people that are toxic, but we need to preserve ourselves, honor our dignity, and limit that relationship or the contact. And if you can, even I say detach. And that is not selfish. We can't feel badly because we can change ourselves. We can change our attitude, our actions, our outlook. We can. But we can't change other people unless they want to change. So stop banging your head, stop feeling guilty, and get on with your life and enjoy your life so that you are the best you can be for the people that are around you that you love. Think about it as doing a good deed for those that you love. Don't think of it
Mm.
selfishly and don't think of it as selfish and don't feel guilty for leaving someone behind because if they don't serve you or an action or a thought process you have doesn't serve you, why hold on to it? Explain to me, please, why you would hold on to it and harm yourself because okay, maybe you're not physically harming yourself, but you're mentally harming yourself.
Oh, truly. Absolutely. And I love that reframe of saying, at the very least, if you can't for yourself, take this time to slow down and take care of yourself and a lot of these tips that are in the book, do it for the sake of the people around you so that you can show up better for those people. I think that that will really resonate with a lot of listeners, because most of the listeners, of course, that we have are women, and we often do for the group a little more easily than we do for ourselves, and so I love that reframe.
And that's absolutely it. And that's not that you stop doing things for other people. I'm all
Mm.
about giving as much as I can, but it's a balancing act. And also, you have to feel good about yourself before you can give of yourself at your best because it is good to give. It's that whole gratitude thing. It's doing something kind for somebody else. I believe in karma, it comes back to you. But even it's not tit for tat kind of thing. It's more that it boosts your endorphins. It's proven by science, another science tip, that doing something kind for other people boosts the brain's reward system. The brain actually has a reward system. That's why the science in my book is so basic, but it cuts to the chase. It gives you the reasons why. And then if you want, I say everybody can research more or do a Google or whatever you want to find out more. But at least if we know the reason why we're doing something, we're more apt to do it than somebody just telling us, well, do this because of this and this and this and this. It's like, I'm not going to just do it. If somebody told you to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, that was what my parents used to say to me, would you do it? The thing is, there has to be a reason why you're going to do it. And if you're going to do it to make yourself feel better, so that you're better for everybody else and you're better for your life and you live in the present, I'm there. Yes, I
there
am.
you there you go. Yeah, at the very least, strap yourself so that you can come back onto the Brooklyn Bridge afterwards. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a nice
Perfect.
bridge to walk over.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. And I really, another thing that I want to point out is that what I'm understanding about the book is that, you can be a beginner at this. You can be at a place where you're just not sure how to have this self-care enter into your life. You're not really sure how to release perfectionism, etc. You're maybe in this place of overachieving and you're worn thin, but you're happy, but you know there's more for you. I would say that for that person, this is a nice, easy, practical guide, is what I'm understanding. It's not necessarily, a 400-page essay on the science of the brain. It's more, practical, tangible, doable things that you can start right away.
Absolutely. I had to do it for me. It was my
Love
guidebook,
that.
and other people that have read it. Also, as somebody who wrote a review, a cancer survivor actually said the same thing. It's that if it becomes difficult, if anything is difficult, people tend to put it on the back burner and it doesn't happen. But if you make something easy, I call it instant gratification. That's why I made it double pages. That's why I made it, when you look at it, it's written in small blocks. There's darker and lighter print. So there, the action item to do, it's darker. Start now. In a nutshell, the commitment, all on a double page, a title, so that it's digestible. You can read just a double page, put it down and pick it up again and read something else. You don't have to follow the order. I mean, I think it's helpful too because I did it in a specific way. But again, it's what you need at the time. As one review said, it's for the reader. It's for you fighting for your best life. And I'm quoting what this person said because that's what it is. We're all fighting for our best life in the best possible way, not in an angry way. But I come at this with love, with empathy, with understanding because I was there. I was so stuck. I really was worried I was going to possibly have a heart attack or a stroke or something because I was pushing myself so hard. And that's not going to be everybody's situation. But in this book, all the double pages, it's the human condition. It's what we all do in our way because we're all different people, but humans struggle with the same thing. The negativity bias that we process negative events, negative information over positive dates back to early humans, the cavemen. We all struggle with certain things we have to overcome in order to enjoy our lives more. Not perfect, just enjoy more, worry less, and make life just a little bit easier for yourself. Why not?
Yeah. I think that the crux of the issue is that so many of us as human beings, we're all searching for happiness because of course we are, our best lives, as you say. And a lot of us have really maladaptive ways of doing it. Try harder, push more, achieve more, have more, like that stuff can be a really big
Right.
one. We have a lot of really maladaptive ways of chasing that happiness.
Yes.
And, it sounds to me like some of the value that you're giving to the podcast community today, listening, is that it's in the slowdown. It's in those moments of quiet. It's in those, releasing and letting go of all of these things that we think will garner us happiness, is where we're going to have a lot more of that natural joy.
You said it so eloquently, Christine. I honestly, that's really it. As I said, think before reacting. And you said in the quiet, the pause, that's in the reflection, in honoring ourselves, because you can find fault. That's what I used to do, Christine. I would not look at all the 10 fantastic things I did in a day. I would look at the few things, one thing, two things that didn't meet my expectations. Were they good enough? Sure, they were good enough. But it's almost like I found solace in beating myself up and
Yeah.
no more. And I urge everyone, once you are self aware and you realize what's going on, you honor yourself, you give yourself permission to let go of perfection, which we create in our own minds because there's no such thing as perfection, anyhow. But we create
So
these
true.
scenarios and they become patterns. Again, a pattern can be negative or positive. It's how we what we create. And both of them are contagious. So we might as well err on the side of a positive pattern and flip the script. And it's not easy. Everybody understand it takes work. It takes time. But if you value yourself enough, if you value your life enough, if you don't want to get to the end and say, why didn't I? Start now. Little steps. Don't put pressure on yourself. You're now you're aware of what's going on. Now you can start to make little changes, not everything at once. Once we try to overwhelm ourselves, it's like cramming
Mhm.
all this stuff in a book. No, I had to write it a certain way so that it would resonate. So be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Give yourself a hug every day when you get up in the morning to stop the cortisol spike that happens naturally, nothing to do with you, and starts the stress and anxiety and negative thoughts. I smile. And as I mentioned, I say positive words to myself. I anticipate the good, not the negative, because it's all in our approach. And I know I say these things over, but if I learned anything in pharmaceutical sales, it's that we have to repeat these things sometimes 7, 8, 9 times before it actually sinks in. So give yourself grace, the time to go through the process, enjoy it while you do it. And then when you do it, I have something on my fridge. I give myself a gold star. Celebrate yourself. Don't be guilty for celebrating yourself. Make a good dinner. Go out with a friend. See a show. See a movie. Have a picnic in the park if you don't have a lot of money. As Christine said, it's the stuff, all the stuff we don't need, all the stuff all the time. It's not how much money, that's not going to make you happier because it's all from inside us. It's what's in here, how we process it, how we love ourselves, how we love the people around us. Because if you love the people around you, why throw your anger on them? Why throw your frustration on them? Work on it slowly but surely, and you will arrive. I promise you, you will, if you're fully invested in living a life that you can enjoy. Not perfect, just the joy of being here, feeling the wind on your skin, walking, laughing with a friend. All these things boost your endorphins and then make you feel better. That's what we need to do more, not buy more stuff, but work on the things and boosting our endorphins to feel better so that we enjoy more, worry less, and just have a better day. We can if we want to. It's a choice.
Mhm. Well said. Well said. Truly. And also, I'm hearing that you live in a lot more presence and that, that's what you're really letting us know today is I'm hearing that sitting with a friend, being in a picnic, etc. It's not necessarily what you do, what you achieve. It's more those little moments when you look at that sunset and you take those deep breaths and you think, wow, how beautiful is this? Or whatever it is, right? It's that slow down. Mhm.
And you, I
Okay.
mean, you of anyone can really talk to it because I am sure, not walking in your shoes, but you have to be grateful every single day you wake up and you put things in perspective. What is important? And all of us have the opportunity to sit back and say that, whether we have endured difficult circumstances, abuse, whatever it is. I feel empathy for everybody who's gone through that. But again, just like you talked about on your podcast, the grief, we can either wallow in it and pity ourselves, or we could stand up, push forward, and grow and work towards finding a better tomorrow. And I hope everybody finds the strength within them, that resilience, the confidence, the self worth to do that, and keep making little charts. Don't do big things that are going to stop you from doing it, but a quick little note celebrating yourself on a refrigerator, just a joyful word to think about each day. There's so many little things we can do to make ourselves feel better. And I find if we feel better, we do better, we're kinder people, and the world
True.
needs more kindness, needs our positive light. So think about, you're doing a good a good deed for somebody else
Mm.
and for
Yeah,
yourself.
truly. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge with us today, Deborah. Is there any kind of final overarching lessons that you'd like to leave with the listeners?
I just want everybody to give themselves, I know I started with this, a hug, and
Mm.
see the value in themselves, and not to be so hard on themselves,
Mm.
so you don't get to the end and say, why didn't I? Why didn't I? So many people, I read so much, people say, I complicated life. It could have been so simple. So now, when you have the opportunity to enjoy, to simplify, to find the joy in the moments, whether on a picnic, whether the breeze on your cheek, whether a good friend, an accomplishment that you're going to celebrate, whatever it might be for you, flip the script. Start now. You're aware. Take those small steps. They make they lead to big changes over time. And yes, I've said this before, but sometimes we need to hear it a few times in order to make the shift and step into a life we enjoy more, not forcing positivity, but approaching life differently with more positive energy, confidence, self worth, and love in your heart.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much for leaving those inspiring words with us, Deborah, and for sharing your light with us. As I said at the
Thank
beginning of
you.
the podcast, you just have such a brightness and a lightness to you. And I know
You.
that that hasn't always been that way. And so that you've done a lot of work to get there. And so great, great work there. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you'd allow me, if anybody wants to join, and it's free, my Positive Energy Club, get a bi-weekly newsletter, very simple. Get your grumpies out, and just some little things you can do. Download my happiness and motivational worksheet and some simple feel good activities. You can go to my website, The Daily Decisions, decisions with an S, thedailydecisions.com/inspire. And it might bring you some joy. They're companions to my book, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck, but they stand alone too. And I am such a fan of Christine's. Her show lifts me up, and I'm just so grateful to have been able to chat with you and inspire your listeners alongside you, because you, my friend, my new friend, are amazing. You know, I just want to give you a round of applause for bringing your light and showing up even in dark moments.
Oh, thank you. That deeply touches me. I deeply appreciate that. Your kind words. Thank you. And I will certainly link all of those links. And thank you for sharing
Thank
some of these
you.
free resources that other people can share into as well. So thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Christine.